Greetings and welcome. 5 Play Friday is live. 6 months since our previous episode. Do I remember how to do things? Of course, with each new season, we take to the court, and there's always the rust. The rust is piling up like snow in Alaska, Mike Goodwin. Good morning. Oh my goodness. Sounds balmy. Perfect. Let me... Oh my goodness. The Zooch is in the house. We can get started. That's always the key. Jason Hayes in the house from the Show Me State of Missouri. Gus and Oliver, we did recently have performance reviews. There were some hard conversations, but everybody's still on the team. Excellent. Billy Mack. Right. Shot clocks, always implementing, always a challenge. Of course, I've never officiated a high school game that didn't have a shot clock. It's just part of the process. But for old dogs, new tricks, etc. And there's certainly some things to learn along the way. Michael, good to see you. And Joe, yes. What time is it? Yes. Darwin Sonata, go blue. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate everybody being here. This is, as Jason Hayes says, awesome. Great to be back. Randy Wilson is on the down low. He's stealth watching on silent mode. Hi, Randy. Hi. As he is doing some, corporate training or something like that. But Randy says he's about to officiate with his son in his first year. That's exciting. I have a son, and now I have a grandson. Brand new, a couple weeks old. I just got back from South Carolina visiting the family there, and practically perfect baby. I'm sorry that my grandchild is so elite, but somebody's got to, I don't know what to say other than just a fantastic youngster, very young, and my son's family is fantastic. So we're super excited about that. But we're also super excited about getting the season started. Paul Sullivan is in the house. Yes, all is right with the world. The world is healing. Oh, fantastic. Well, we obviously have a lot of new rules this year, important rules changes. So the case book isn't out yet. So we, obviously we have the elimination of 1-and-1, right? So for states that use NFHS rules, there's a couple of states that use halves instead of quarters. Those states will probably, I think it's Minnesota and Wisconsin will, obviously the new rule change will not take effect for them if they continue to use halves. And I believe that is what they are doing. Michael, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, haven't figured out what my grandpa name is going to be, But we are excited about that. Really? So there's a lot of changes that they have to make. All references to 1-and-1 have to be eliminated. And when they do that, like on correctable error plays where should have been 1-and-1 and they awarded 2. Will they just eliminate those case plays? Do they renumber the case plays? I don't know how that's all going to play out. It just seems like there's going to be breadcrumbs left over after all of the changes that refer to something that doesn't apply anymore. But the throw-in spots is... So the big rules change is obviously 2 free throws after 5 fouls in a period. reset to 0 to start the next period, and bonus free throws always being 2 free throws, eliminating the 1 and 1. And how that all will play out. But then also the throw-in spots, right? So there was a discussion on the Facebook group yesterday where Mike Connors, conspicuously absent in the chat, made the same mistake that I did, in that it has to be a defensive foul or violation in order to invoke the throw-in in the front court, but that's not the case at all. Any front court throw-in that is not the result of an out-of-bounds violation or a defensive violation or foul, if it's a front court throw-in, it will go to one of the 4 spots. And we are in the process of producing our annual videos on all things throw-in, new rules, points of emphasis, all part of something that we have going called the Video Vault, which is video training for high school associations. We'll have more information on that soon. Ed Harris in the house, good to see you. Yeah, I have the new rules book in the right. So that's the other thing, is NFHS has changed the way they publish online rules books, going to NFHS All Access, which is buggy, but I have the new rules books, the new rules book. So that's cool for me. It's all about me. It's not about you, Ref. It's about me. Yeah. But that's helpful. It's super helpful to have the actual rules verbiage. Timeout in the front court. So what is the result of the situation? Will there be a front court throw-in? Yes, there will. Was it the result of a out-of-bounds violation or a defensive foul or violation? No. So where will it be? One of the 4 spots. That's the simple process that we go through. This is a front court throw-in. It is not the result of this. It is not the result of this. Therefore, it must go to one of the 4 spots. So a team could advance, they're dribbling the ball, they advance. The coach says, when we get in the front court, I'm going to call a timeout. We say, I'll listen for it. They dribble the ball, they're just in the front court. The coach calls a timeout. Where are we going to put the ball? We're going to force the 28-foot line in that instance, even though they're just across the division line. So that's our simple formula, though. It's like, okay, what kind of is this going to be? A front court throw-in, back court throw-in? Back court, spot nearest. Front court, what was it the result of? 4 spots. We love it. Except out of bounds or a defensive foul or violation. So a kicked ball will be spot nearest. Fisting the basketball, the always popular fisting the basketball by a defensive player, that happens so often, would result in a spot nearest. Swinging elbows, possible, super unlikely. Player leaving the floor voluntarily and the first to touch inbounds, possible. But basically, Adam, if you follow this simple guideline, you'll be right almost always. Okay. All right. I appreciate everybody jumping in. Now I got to figure out the processes again, all the things. So what I'm going to do, we're going to have today, what we're doing today is a best of episode. So we will have clips from previous 5-play episodes, and then we'll talk about them after the fact. That is the plan. What's really important to me is that the sound of the clips plays. And so we're thinking about that. All right. Well, let's see how this goes. I'm going to start pressing buttons and we'll see what happens. All right. The 2023-24 season is upon us. We're getting sharp by looking at plays. Let's start right now and look at plays. Stick around. Greetings. Welcome back to 5 Play Friday. It's Greg Austin with A Better Official. We help basketball officials get better with video analysis so that they can take their strengths onto the court and be the best official they can be. One of the ways we do that is with 5 Play Friday. We analyze game video. We look at all of the things, the positives, the negatives, identify the negatives that we may find in our game, identify the positives that we want to emulate. To start the season, we are going to start with To start this season, we're starting with some some plays from the past season that we can look at and get better as basketball officials without delay. Let's do that. Let's look at our very first play.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this first play. All right, so as we pick up on this, I'm doing an unapproved signal, so I apologize for you. This is me in the clip. One of the reasons I wanted to share this play is because offensive leg kickouts by shooters have been addressed at other leagues in their directives that they've put out, in their interpretations, stuff like that recently. NFHS, to my knowledge, has not put anything out on leg kick shed as far as a directive. But it's becoming a growing trend in our game, right? So offensive leg kickouts by shooters, unnatural motions like this, need to be penalized when it negatively affects the defender, correct? So on this play, we can see the offensive player is driving down. He's going to pull up for a quick three. I position adjust down to see an open look, have an up and open look through the matchup. I stay with the shooter. So one of the things that we always, and a lot of you guys know, one of the things we always talk about on airborne shooter plays, we want to find the open angle first. Look at the feet. Now we want to officiate the shooter up. We want to officiate the shooter down, and then we can look to rebounding action. Okay, so that sequencing can really help us stay with those airborne shooters. One of the things this is a side note, but I wanted to bring it up. I evaluate a lot of crews, and I look at a lot of game film of our crews here locally. And one of the things I see a lot from high school officials is on these airborne shooter plays, especially perimeter shots, they'll mark the shot, and then they're going to turn their head and watch the ball fly through the air. All right. So I know this has been addressed multiple times, especially on this show in the past. But we want to follow the shooter up, down, and then we can look to rebounding action. Watching a ball fly through the air cannot help you at all. It's pointless. All right. That can't hurt you. That ball flying through the air cannot hurt you. But a defender crashing into a shooter can, or an offensive player unnaturally extending their leg and tripping an opponent, a defender that's contesting the play, but is not going to touch the shooter otherwise. And then this results in blue 11 being tripped and falling. And Greg, I want us to talk about together kind of what you observed on this play as well. And then let's pay special attention to this. Would you split hairs on this, or would you say that the shooter has already landed? Yeah. Would you call this a player control foul as an airborne shooter, like I did? Or, would you go ahead and say that this is after the shooter has landed?
That's awesome. So we haven't talked about this play, but these are exactly the things that are jumping off to me as well, is we may have a decision to make if the ball goes in, right? Are we going to score that goal, or are we going to consider this an airborne shooter? So here's what I see. I mean, when I watch the play, it's like, do we have the open look on the play? Have we moved at a pace anticipating what we're going to have and get in position? We're in perfect position. We've got the feet. We got looking for point of contact, not really a factor, but we're staying with the shooter. And like you say, it's something that if you are analyzing your own game video as a basketball official and finding those, did I stay with my shooter all the way up, all the way down, and then a little bit more, right? There may be a retaliatory thing or a throwing out a butt on a 3-point shooter. So this is all perfect. And I like the processing, right? Just taking a moment. We don't have to be in a rush here. Taking a moment, we're processing. We're watching the ball, whether it goes in, but I really just see that as we're just taking the second of time to process, make a decision, and put a call on the play. And one more thing, right? So we report. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. I love it. There's no.
It's an unapproved signal. It's not an approved signal, and so I understand that. I wanted to get that out there from an NFHS standpoint. Obviously, it's not an approved signal. But what do we have on this play? Okay, so what I could have done, what am I going to call a blocking foul on this?
Yeah.
What am I going to call? So I could obviously have reported the color and number, and then I could have done blocking foul, and then given a little extra with the leg kick.
Yep.
But I want to. I've got the assistant coach for this team right behind me, and the head coach that said, why? What? That's on him. And so giving that, I don't even have to say a word to them. When I do my leg kick out like that, then it's clear to them, and they know that this player does this on plays. So here's some context. A few plays earlier, he did it. I was aware to that, and now we keep that in the back of our mind throughout the game. Whenever this player goes up to shoot a 3-point attempt, we know he's going to unnaturally kick his leg out. And if he makes contact, now I want to talk about this, Greg. If he makes contact right here, but it doesn't trip that defender, That's a no call.
Yeah,
that's a no call. The only reason I have a call on this play is because it trips blue 11 and causes him to fall to the floor. All right, and that's what we've been instructed at the collegiate level. Obviously, this applies here too. This is an offensive leg kick out. He contacts him just as he's landing, almost simultaneously as he's landing. So when I look to the basket there, that's just my normal sequencing, right? But that normal sequencing also gives me time, like you said, to process this play and think, okay, do I have a player control foul on this? Is he airborne shooter? Am I going to, if this goes in, am I going to wipe the bucket? Just processing, even if it's stuff that you're thinking through all those things in a split second, right? And so giving that extra look to the basket, even though at that point I probably already knew I was coming out with player control and I was going to wipe it even if it went in. But that lets me know after I looked over there, I see the shot did not go in, so I don't need to wipe it away, right? I don't need to cancel the basket. So if it had gone in, that's why I looked to the basket there after I observed the illegal contact. I looked to the basket there. I see it doesn't go in, so I don't need to wipe it. I don't need to cancel it.
Right. All right, fantastic. From our inaugural episode last season, the great Chip Clark, a fantastic clip and breakdown of the clip. We appreciate Chip joining us. There'll be a link in the show description to that episode. You can see the full episode with Chip Clark of 5 Play Friday from last year. Nice. I got to turn that off. Okay, cool. Richard Smith is in the house from Arkansas. Man, I'm loving this. Just watch the clip. I can be like, I'm along with you. It's just like, let's see what Chip has to say. This is awesome. Yes, I agree. Well, Chip made the episode, right? He's fantastic. And so is Deep Dive Ref, which, he posts a lot on Twitter, high school plays, etc. A great resource. I don't think it was a point of emphasis in high school last season. I mean, what are we talking about, Steve? We're talking about the fact the punch, no punch, or kickouts by airborne shooters. But that's what we had on this play. Obvious kick out on the play. I agree with the call. I agree that it was an airborne shooter. And great habits and fundamentals at the spot, right? Love it. Love it. Habits and fundamentals at the spot. Critical to success on this play. That's a tight little sideline over there. There's some sidelines. There's a couple of schools, high schools locally here where the table, right? You got to make the table crew has to make a judgment, right? Either we have zero room to sit behind the table and we can keep the table off of the court, or we need to get in and out. We have to move the table out onto the court. Don't like those situations, right? Just thinking about corners and edges and what have you. All right. Dave, good to see you. All right. Yeah, I'm probably more liberal than that. Right. It's kind of like a free throw shooter being displaced by a defender who backs into a free throw shooter. It's almost like the act of shooting has not been completed until they have assumed more of a basketball ready position. When a player is fully extended and vulnerable, and then the contact comes in. I mean, we're obviously different than this play. Even though their toes from their feet may have touched, unless they've fully landed and are in a basketball position, I'm probably still considering them in the act of shooting. That's just me. I'm going to take that little extra fraction of a second if I have a vulnerable player during a try. That is just me. Now, let's see how am I going to go about doing this. That's the wrong thing.
It's going to be a good game from the start, and it has proven to be one. A nail biter, 70-69.
On a 3-point shooter. All right, I'm going to do a do-over. I'm going to go here. Now I know what happens when I press that button. All right, Chip Clark gets us started. Let's look now at our next play.
It's going to be a good game from the start, and it has proven to be one. A nail biter, 70-69, 7 seconds left. Batavia has the ball. Ambrose inbounds. A little confusion there. Nazos made the pass in. Or Ambrose made the pass in, and Nazos fell.
Holy cow, what the heck just happened in our game? Wow, this is an incredible play. One that it's great to look at and look at all of the things and what we have here, right? We have an end line throw in. Players allowed to move. The official clearly indicates that, right? Players allowed to move. They have a play designed to throw back to a teammate who's going out of bounds. The teammate trips somehow and falls out of bounds. The pass then between teammates contacts the official, bounces on the floor. Player gets up, ultimately passes the ball in. Have we done things correctly on this play? Have you ever seen a play like this before? Right? It's crazy, crazy. So let's look at all of the things here, right? The player is allowed to move. The official does a fantastic job of indicating the ability to move along the end line. Everybody knows. They step to the side. Let's do that. The play is designed. Do we have illegal contact on the player who goes to the floor? Right? The ball contacts the official. They try to avoid it. They can't. Right? It contacts them. Has a violation occurred? Has anything occurred on this play? Right? This is legal by rule. Is the player within the two sidelines? It's close. Ultimately, we have a foul here. Take foul situation. Would that initial contact rise to the level of a foul? Fantastic. So we're looking at all of the things on this play, right? What ultimately happens is we've put a timer here on the screen. Hold on just a second. Oh, hold on. We put a timer that'll go right here that shows the actual count, what it should have been, right? But we stop our count, right? That's something that we have to recognize is we've stopped our count in this situation. How can we avoid stopping our count rather? How can we make it a habitual action? What kind of count would we want to have in this situation? Super precise, right? Very big and precise, right? That's the vibe we'd want from our count in this situation. Nothing subtle, right? Everybody knows, and be very precise with that count. But when something unusual happens and we're in a counting situation, like in a backcourt situation and the ball is deflected and the ball gets loose, we have to maintain that count if we are working in a state where we use the visible count. Let's do this. So ultimately on this play, we are correct in not putting a whistle into the game. Nothing illegal has occurred, and we have a human being who has a visible count, and their count becomes erroneous. There's no opportunity to correct when that occurs. It's simply relying on their count in this situation. They terminated their count and then resumed it. That was incorrect. We should have had a 5-second throw-in violation on this play. We did not. Obviously, it's a crazy play. I would say also that in a take foul situation, this initial two hands on the ball handler should be ruled a foul, right? So, they are looking to foul, right? We have two hands that gives us license to put a whistle on the play. And did we have a foul on blue 34 in this instance, right? That's what we have to look at as well. Sorry, right? We have a player who is tripped and falls out of bounds. Is this illegal contact? Who is officiating that play, right? Our trail official is officiating the throw-in action, and this sort of occurs at their feet. Should our center come across and get that? Is it illegal contact, or did he just trip, right? A defender's never allowed to extend a leg. That tripping foul should have been ruled, in my judgment. So we missed a few things on this play, but one thing about it is it's a great play for review. It's great right? So at the end of the game, and in throw-in situations especially, unusual things can happen, and what we want to do is prepare ourselves for these moments, for the unforeseen, right? So that we have habits and fundamentals such as that count that will not end, right? I habitually do this in all situations during the game so that when the pressure's on and something unusual happens, my habitual actions continue, right? So we can always think about how we can fashion ourselves so that in high stress moments when unusual things occur, we can be at our best for the game.
because
That's a crazy play.
It's going to be a good game from the start, and it has proven to be one. A nail biter. 70 to
All
69,
right.
7 seconds left.
That is a crazy play and a fantastic one to review. Gives us lots of things to look at, right? And one of the key takeaways for me was in a counting situation, we've got to be a metronome. We are a metronome, and we have to build that habit in. Something happens, right? So like when I have a player from backcourt to front court, I'm going to count like a second or two in the front court just to emphasize the fact that I want to make sure that I keep my count going, right? And especially ball gets tipped, etc. This throw-in situation at the end of the game, highly unique, a great play to review, and that's what we did on this play. Okay, thanks everybody for the echo warning. I was most concerned about the sound here on this play, or in this situation where I have plays playing and people speaking. Thank you. Hey, that's the objective, Jason. That's the objective. Better. That's what I have, right? So again, we can look at our habits and fundamentals when we're officiating a throw-in. What are we looking at? First of all, the distance that the official has is really good, right? Distance from the habits and fundamentals on the actual throw-in here, right? I'm going to turn that off, right? He's got great distance on the play. Seems to... Let's see. He seems to be looking at the matchup right in front of him, but gave up on it for just a second as the ball was being passed and missed the tripping action. Maybe a little bit further back, but overall the positioning to observe what was happening on the throw was pretty good. Yeah, it's going to be tough for the center to come get that. The center should be watching this play right in the middle, at the top of the arc. Trail's not officiating, or New Lead's not officiating anything. But if our center official should have this action here at the top of the arc, that's a competitive matchup. Holy cow. That's just a crazy play. I agree, Billy Mack. This player was tripped, by an extended leg by a defender. What if... Oh my gosh, that would have made the play even crazier. Well, Dave, so what is the official's status? The official is considered to be part of the floor. So it would be the same as if our thrower had released a throw-in pass, even though this was, in an out-of-bounds direction. Ultimately, like I could have thrown the ball directly sideways with spin on it so that it bounced out of bounds and then bounced onto the court. Ultimately, the thrower has released the ball. It has contacted the official, which is the same as contacting the floor, and then had rolled onto the court. So we would consider that to be a throw-in pass at that point. Oh, that would have made things even more. The processing. The ball contacting the official out of bounds, no, because they have not actually made a throw-in pass. They've passed the ball to a teammate, right, which they are allowed to do. Unfortunately, that teammate was not there because they were down on the floor due to the trip. Contacting the official here would not be a thing. Of course, the ball gets dangerously close to where the sideline extends. Our thrower would not be allowed to contact the ball outside the sideline extended, that would be illegal. Yes, in NFHS mechanics, it is suggested that we count towards the thrower. The trail could have. That would have been a great crew save, I think, because that's really the key to the play. They set up a play to throw to a player who was stepping out of bounds. This is their play. That play did not occur due to something. What was that something? That player was tripped due to illegal contact. That's a play that needs a whistle, in my judgment. So coming and getting that would be fantastic from either trail, center, or lead, right? It is the key part. Dave, it's not a throw-in pass that he makes. If he had thrown a pass, he may not be the first to touch, but this is not a throw-in pass. He is attempting to throw to a teammate, and therefore there'd be no restriction on his ability to go and contact the basketball when no other player had. The first to touch refers to a throw-in pass. A player releases a pass onto the court. That is a throw-in pass. That is the definition of a throw-in pass. If we are allowed to pass the ball in an out-of-bounds area that's not onto the court, and none of those restrictions apply, right? So this player could, do all of the things. Anything you want. They could bounce the ball off the back wall, under the K here, off the back wall, run to the other side, pick up the basketball on the rebound, and then throw a pass down the court. That would not be illegal. Of course, we cannot throw a pass off of the back wall that goes onto the court. That is illegal. But our throw-in scenarios, especially when a player can move and the teammates can come off of the court, there's a million possibilities that can occur. So that is a great play for review. The link to that episode, which featured many fantastic plays, will be down in the show notes, the show description. But with that, let's move on. Let's look at play number 3. All right, transition officiating, right? It's a key component in our game. The way we work in the front court is one thing. The way we work in transition and looking at habits and fundamentals in transition. A lot of times here on 5 Play Friday, we look at plays and we say, look at all the things the crew did wrong, right? But when we analyze game video, we have to look at positives. What are the positives? What are the habits and fundamentals that we can emulate in our own game? So in this play, we have a hard foul at the end. We're going to make judgments about whether this foul is a common foul or whether we need to upgrade. But when we analyze our game video, we're looking at all the things. And so that's what we're going to do here, is look at the habits and fundamentals exhibited by the crew. Really important on this play to do that. So if we start at the very beginning, right, our crew is in good position for this rebounding action. Our trail's coming in a little late. I don't know how we got there necessarily. And then in transition, center official has the middle third. Open look on the defender coming up. Nothing going on. Notice our trail as well has moved really quickly down the court and is great position right here, right? Oftentimes we look at our game video and the trail is late to the party, right? So we're in great shape here. We have a call by the center and then doubled by the lead on this hard foul. Both officials recognize the hard foul. Look at our trail official here as well, right? Big picture view. Not coming in, not turning away, etc. We know our two other officials are engaged. Trail official has the big picture view. I like stepping to the three-point line as well. These are all great habits and fundamentals. So our lead, maybe a touch late getting to the end line. Our center in great position here. And our trail in fantastic position here, because we could have a restricted area play or something like that, and our trail needs to be engaged here as well. And possibly we have our two other officials stacked, and the trail would be the only one who could see arm contact, etc. Right? So when we look at this clip, when I look at this clip, what I see are great habits and fundamentals by the crew. Hard foul, close down. We're communicating. Yeah, maybe a little more hustle from our lead so that they were in position on the catch. That would be my one quibble, right? We want to make sure in this situation where the players are coming in that the right players are going to the right people, right? And we don't want white going to blue while they're on the floor or blue going to white while they're on the floor. So being aware there, our trail officials in great position for a big picture view here as well. So an obvious foul in transition, looking at the habits and fundamentals exhibited by the crew, right? That's our big takeaway here. If I'm looking at my game video, am I doing what this trail is doing? Am I getting up the court fast enough to be here, right? Perfect spot to help on that play if we didn't have a call from the other officials. Right? Am I hustling enough as lead? Am I in good position as center? I think we have great position as center here. Right? Open look. Transfer eyes. Hard foul. Now we need to make a judgment about whether we're going to upgrade this call or not, but great work by our crew on this play. So when we analyze our game video, we're looking for mistakes that we make. When we analyze other plays, we're looking for the mistakes that the crew may have made. But we always have to take away the positives. What did we do well? What habits and fundamentals that other people exhibit can we take and bring into our own game? And this clip is a great example of that. So many positives to take away. So some tremendous points, teaching points, habits and fundamentals exhibited by the crew in transition. Those positives are what we want to take into our game so that we can be better as basketball officials. All right, a great clip. Chris Janish provided that clip. If you want to supply a clip to 5 Play Friday, there'll be a link in the description and on the screen as well. That's what we'll do there. And then we're going to fix it in post. Oh. The Zooch. That's being a good partner. That is being a good partner right there. Ed, are we talking about the previous play, the throw-in play? Yeah, I like the fact that NCAA men's, just for consistency, I wish there was much more consistency between, mechanic sets. Yeah, I think maybe the severity of the contact on the play may have, caused the lead to sort of jump a little bit. It's like, ooh, that's a hard foul. And become a little less disciplined. Okay. All right. Coming along. I like this. I could just watch the show. Good morning, Jason. How are you? Great to see you. On the chat, we are looking at plays. We're looking at best of plays from previous episodes last season. Yeah. And of course, on this play, what do we have? We have this great student section at Dort. I guess this is Dort College. And they got their chest lettering all set up. Tremendous. Chip, we replayed a play from our episode together. That's the first play today. And you got the call right, and your analysis was spot on. Tremendous. Good to see you. All right. So I am here poised. What am I going to do? I'm going to do it there. Hold on. Okay. I think I know. I've lost my place. Hey, Chip, as we know, late is great. Awesome. Okay. All right. I think this is what we're going to do. All right. We have a next play mentality. Let's move on. Let's look at our next play from the Best of 5 Play Friday.
Hendricks with the inbounds pass right back to him. Ball tipped away by Brake. Tripped up by Helterbrand from behind. Raiders got a little lucky. Kaiser's trip managed to save them a easy bucket.
All right, transition, steal, both teams in the bonus, right? What happens next on a play like this? We have to be aware. We have to identify these plays for what they are. What do we have on this play? What are the things, what are the factors that we're going to need to bring to the table in adjudicating a play like this, right? We have a defender who deflects the ball, and subsequently, as they attempt to go to the other end and make a layup, they are tripped from behind by a falling number 15 White on this play, right? It's obviously a foul. Official puts a whistle on the play, etc. The key takeaway from a play like this is identifying what kind of foul it is, right? Identifying them every single time so that when we are in a bonus situation, we do not make a mistake here, right? So let's look at the play for what it is, right? We have a deflection. At this point, do we have team control by White still, right? Team control by White in the front court. Ball is deflected. Ball gets loose. Does the blue player gain control at this point? No. No, they do not, right? Which simply identifies this for what it is. This is a team control foul by rule. If we were in a bonus situation, we would not be shooting free throws. We may be 30 seconds into the game when this play occurs, but identifying these plays for what they are, team control foul, will prevent later in the game when the same situation occurs in a bonus situation, everybody in the game is going to the end to shoot free throws. We have to recognize what these plays are and put whistles on plays and accurately report them in each and every circumstance, so that when the bonus is in effect and the game wants to shoot free throws, we can be the one to say no change in team control foul, no free throws would be awarded. Right? Again, the batting of the ball does not. This action here does not. Dribbling is an act of a player in control dribbling the basketball, right? So it's really important to identify these plays for what they are so that we can better adjudicate them. Thanks to Jacob Krause for this clip. It's a fantastic clip. And of course, we can look at all of the things like the resulting throw-in. Does the correct official administer this throw-in? Right? Does the center administer the throw-in in this situation? And the other officials slide around? Is that awkward? Is that correct? Et cetera. Yes, it is correct. We can also look at the habits of the calling official here, right? Which again, when we analyze game video, we're looking at all of the things. Right? You see that action there? Anticipating the pass, getting the open look by stepping down, right? Fantastic. If we can do this in our game, it shows we recognize what's occurring in the game. If we're officiating the players on the court in our primary coverage area, right? What do we have in our primary coverage area here as C? We've got one defender who's way off and a potential shooter, white 15, who's saying, hey, I'm open, give me the ball, right? The game moves forward, right? And we see that player move out to a three-point shot. We see the pass in flight. We step down. This is great position adjustment on this play, and a great play and a great clip all the way around. Thank you, Jacob, for submitting that clip. So we have a white obviously not making a play on the basketball, but how did they get to that point, right? What do we have here? In the end, we see white 15 is tripped, right? He trips and falls. This is not an intentional act of falling into the back of the legs, etc. It's an inadvertent action. I would not rule intentional on this play. That's what we love when we look at video, is all of the things, right? The obvious stuff, like our first play, obvious stuff. Calling official, which official made the call, etc. Was it a foul? Was there a push from behind, etc. All of the things. But the nuances of clips that the clips offer are fantastic as well.
Hendricks with the inbounds pass right back to him. Ball tipped away.
There. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, would you go intentional? I mean, ultimately the player negates an opponent's obvious advantage with an unintentional action. Would that rise to the level of an intentional foul? Simply because, wait a minute, this player who had an advantage, even though they did not have team control, player control, they had an advantage, and illegal contact ended that advantage. Would you put an intentional foul on this play? Would you consider that? To me, it doesn't sort of meet the criteria, but if you explain it simply, negating an opponent's obvious advantage, that definitely occurs on this play. So every time I see the play, I think, oh, wait a minute. And you could also say, well, wait a minute, does white 15 give a little extra roll into the feet? Yeah, that's sort of the key takeaway for me, Such, is building, again, habits and fundamentals. If we identify this as a team control foul each and every time when this same play occurs in a bonus situation, when everybody in the game thinks that free throws will be attempted, which would be, of course, the fifth foul in a period. Now, Phil Haddad, great to see you, Phil. Thanks for jumping in. Jason Hayes, yes. So this is a great example of a play that would now be at the 28-foot line. I would say this is a foul in the front court. If we slow it down, is it possible? Was the illegal contact here? No, the obvious illegal contact does occur in the front court. That would be a 28-foot line throw-in because it was a defensive foul in the front court. Hoi, hoi. Yeah, good point. Good point. If there was, yeah. There's something in the back of my mind that says, okay, all right. Okay, I'm doing better with the sound. So the way I have it configured, there's the sound from the video, which comes through on my speakers, and then the sound of the video. So it comes through twice. That's why there's a possible echo, but I've got it a bit sorted. And I will say, yeah. All right, a great play for review. A lot of things to look at here on this play. Let's start with the beginning, right? So we have red 11. Pass to the wing, player drives. That player is tripped. That is illegal contact. Our lead puts a whistle on the play. We've got the lead and trail moving. Is our center engaged in this situation? Got a lot of great athletes on the floor. Looks like a high-level game. Want to be really connected here. That is a tripping action, right? We have a teammate of the fouling player steps over another player. In many instances, this leads to retaliatory action, right? We need to be aware of these things occurring. In this instance, he was just sort of at his feet. Right? I do not like our engagement by the center here. When our other officials are moving, we've got to be super engaged. A great technique would be to ensure as center you step into the arc at minimum, right? And stay engaged. We have an agreement, right? As a crew, we have an agreement, right? In 2-person and in 3-person. In a situation where in 2-person, I'm the calling official and I'm going to report. Here's our agreement, right? We're both responsible for watching the players. But I tell you what, I need to take a little time out from that responsibility and go report. So you have to watch players for me. You have to take that responsibility completely. In a 3-person game, a call by the lead, the trail and the lead are moving, right? As trail to new lead, we'd want habits that open us up to observe players. But our center official has to recognize when the other 2 officials are moving, we have got to be super engaged and aware of what's going on because they are going to be, our reporting official is going to be out of the equation potentially, and our other official who's moving will be less able, right? So we need to be super engaged. So on this play, we've got the foul. Our defender does not feel like he fouled. He says, he tripped. He tripped on my foot. I didn't trip him, right? And we've got this action here. What led up to it? What did we not see? This bump right here by red 11, right? We did not observe that as a crew. Oftentimes what we see is the retaliatory action. We see the retaliatory action. We are going to assess a penalty related to what we see, right? But sometimes we miss the thing that led to the retaliatory action. I would assume these players have had some energy between them throughout the game. That would just be an expectation based on this scenario, right? So takeaways here. We have to be engaged as the non-calling official and the non-moving official here, and be aware of what is occurring in this dead ball situation, right? The old adage, when the ball is dead, we become live, etc. This is where it comes, the rubber meets the road. This is where we have to be good. And when we are good, right, if we could see this first bump and either address it or assess a penalty to it, right? When red 11 here, right, we got clapping, this bump here, that's obviously an intentional action, right? If we come in and address that immediately, then, potentially we avoid, etc. So that would be a takeaway for me on this play. When the ball is dead, we become alive, but seeing it in practice, right? In situations where we have potentially missed something, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen in your game. We can't always see everything, but if we develop a sense of understanding, what is my role in this situation right now? What is my role? My part, one official is going to go report, one official is going to move to administer the foul, and what's my role? Am I just like, right? Find things to officiate and be really good in dead ball situations, and the game will appreciate it. Oh, good transition. I did it that time. Man, when I see this clip, there's a lot of tension in this game between these players, right? This is not a game where we're going to take a little me time when the whistle blows, right? We have to be super aware, right? We notice here our trail official, as he moves to lead, is focused on getting the basketball while players are on the floor, right? That look to the sideline, that look away, right? I mean, we want to protect the basketball, but we have kids, playing with matches in a dry field here. Things could go off on this play. And we have to be in tune with that. Great play for review. A lot of things. We need to, when we watch this clip, it's like immediately as officials are, the hair stands up on the back of our neck a little bit, just because we recognize there's tension in this game and interaction between players. And just from a 10-second clip or a 15-second clip, that's obvious. And so when we're in the game, we have to have that same awareness that this is a game that needs our complete attention. Yeah. Yeah, but but you could say we could say Ted, I'm sorry, that our center is in great position. The problem is our center is taking me time. They are disconnected from the game. They are disconnected from the tinderbox that is occurring in the lane area. They are not fulfilling their responsibility as off-ball, big picture, see it all, recognize what's going on, and the energy between the players in the game. That's what's missing. Like I say, our trail gets distracted by the basketball, right? We always have to recognize situations where we're distracted by the basketball in high tension situations, right? And contrast this with the previous play, the collegiate game, where the two officials recognized hard foul, both closed in, both have eyes on players, and our trail official has the big picture view, right? They fulfilled all of their responsibilities. Now, we can't prevent everything that could possibly occur in the game, right? We could be in great position, But a player does a knucklehead thing, pushes somebody comes in from behind, and things go off, right? We can't prevent, but we can be in position and be aware of the things that may occur in that situation. The way we do that is with habits and fundamentals, and obviously it has to incorporate a sense of what's going on in the game as well, right? If there is tension building in a game, it gives, now some games we're doing are super low energy. There's, the game's decided, etc., right? And is that license to break? No. But when stakes are high and energy is high, we have no room to say, yeah, I'll look away, I'll look for the ball, etc. Right? And the thing is that if we habitually, as in this situation where the trail in this situation after this foul, players on the floor, tension in the game, being distracted by the basketball. If we looked at previous plays, you could say, all right, I'm looking at my game video. Why am I so focused on the basketball, right? The basketball is not important. Just like on play number 1, when Chip says the ball's in flight, watching the basketball, there's no value in doing that, right? Obviously, we don't want our basketball to disappear, etc., but it's the lowest priority situation on this play. Michael, thank you. Thank you. So Adam says red 11. Yeah, red 11 is our problem player. And that's the other thing, is identifying players in the game who are going to get us into trouble, right? I posted a play on a Facebook group where a player sort of steps on another player. I was watching this game 15 seconds into the game. That's a fool the ref player. That's a player who's looking for an advantage, right? Identifying those players who we need to be aware of what's going on around those players. So in the end, red 11, he becomes unscathed, and he's doing the clappity clap clap thing after bumping 2 players, and instigating. Zooch has it, yes. Chip says, let's see. Yeah. Right. The moment we allow a little disconnection, some situations will allow us to say, okay, I can look at the clock, team fouls. I could take in big picture information about the game, timeouts, whatever, direction of the arrow in low stress situations. After the players have dissipated, right? Now I can do these things that I need to do as the off-ball official. But in a situation like this, as Chip says, needs to find work during the dead ball. Trust that the other 2 officials are going to do their job, right? And find that stuff off-ball, right? What's the energy between the players, right? Being really sensitive to that. There's tension between the players, so we need to see every interaction along the way, right? That subtle bump by red 11, right? Early, right? He's clapping, bumps him. That is an intentional action, right? Comes back, bumps him again, and then does the play acting, right? If we've missed something if we don't see all that, and we just need to be super aware. Yes, indeed. Kind of like a dream scenario, Jacob. A dream scenario, to be sure. We missed it. If you're just joining, we had a play of yours from earlier, that tripping play in transition. A great play. Thank you, Jacob. All right. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is just go here. Okay. Let me do this. All right. After a series of hard fouls, fighting in our game, what do we need? We need a palate cleanser. Let's take a look at a bonus play.
Controls the ball, sneaks under the defense, and does a does some nice gymnastics move. Oh my goodness, I've never seen that in a basketball game before. Oh my gosh.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. The things you see when you're out on the court, right? If you're considering getting into officiating, get into officiating. It's so much fun. There's so many fun things that happen, the environment, etc., players succeeding, failing, excitement, drama, and wild and wacky things that can occur in our game. And we appreciate those when they do. Thanks for joining us today for 5 Play Friday. Much appreciated. If you would do me a favor, hit the like button immediately and directly. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. If you also subscribe and notify, you'll not miss out. We live stream 2 times a week, every Wednesday and Friday during the basketball season. So we'll see you there on the live stream. Awesome. Right. After a series
it succeeded.
I got to do the transition to sound thing when I do these. Well, that was a fun play. That was a fun play. One of the most fun plays from the previous season. Oh. Indeed, Mike, she stuck the landing, right? And so really, there are so many things that when we officiate games, there's so many moments, like I say, success and failure, hitting the game-winning shot, the kid off the bench who the team loves, never gets to play, makes a shot, place goes crazy, right? And it's fun. We like officiating high school basketball. That's the bottom line. That's what keeps us coming back from year to year. Here we are at the start of a new season. Are we excited? Yes. Yes, we are. Yeah, get out on the court, officiate these kids, and they do seem to stay the same age. I have noticed that as we get a bit older. All right. Well, that is going to do it for today's episode. I'm committed to shorter shows. 75 minutes. We started on time. 75 minutes. We are in there. I am going to... Oh, I would go there. Oh, that was... I got you. Okay. All right. I am going to, we'll chat it up in the chats. Phenomenal. All right, everybody. We will see you next Friday. Be here or be square.